She told you she doesn't think about sex that much, then spent 40 minutes picking out lingerie she claims is just for comfort. She says she's not that sexual, but her browser history tells a different story. No, it's not shopping sites and recipe blogs. The truth that nobody wants to admit, women are just as sexually obsessed as you are, maybe more. They're just playing a completely different game with completely different rules, and you've been trying to compete without even knowing what sport you're playing. Oh man, what sport you're playing. Here's what's scrambling your brain. You think about sex like hunger, straightforward, urgent, obvious. See something attractive, want it, pursue it, hopefully get it, simple. But she experiences sex like a psychological thriller that's simultaneously happening in the past, present, and future. While you're thinking about tonight, she's processing how this connects to her childhood messages about being a good girl, calculating how this affects her reputation, and projecting what this means about her value as a person. You're playing checkers while she's playing interdimensional chess. She's playing interdimensional chess. The cultural mind around sex has everyone confused, but women got the worst of it. Society spent centuries telling them that sexual desire makes them worthless, then flipped the script overnight and said they should be empowered sex goddesses. Now they're stuck between their grandmother's voice saying, "Nice girls don't," and Instagram telling them to embrace their inner. Meanwhile, you're wondering why she can go from wildly passionate to completely shut down in 0.3 seconds. It's because she's fighting a civil war in her head between what she wants and what she's been programmed to want. Think about the mixed messages she's been fed since birth. Be sexy but not. Be available but not easy. Be passionate but not desperate. Want it but don't want it too much. Enjoy it, but not more than he does. Be a lady in the street and a freak in the sheets, but also somehow be authentic while performing this impossible balancing act. No wonder her sexuality comes with more terms and conditions than a software update. Her sexual desire isn't just about the physical. It's about who she was, who she is, and who she's becoming. That random Tuesday when she jumped you, it wasn't random. She felt powerful that day, accomplished something at work, felt seen in that meeting, and suddenly her body remembered it was alive. That week she was cold and distant. She saw herself in an unflattering photo. Her mother made a comment about her weight. Or she felt invisible in a room full of people. Her sexuality is tied to her entire psychological ecosystem in ways that would short-circuit your straightforward wiring. The background she carries rewrites her sexual programming in real time. If her first boyfriend treated sex like she was doing him a favor, she learned her sexuality was a gift to give rather than pleasure to receive. If she grew up in a house where bodies were shameful, she learned to disconnect from her desires like they were enemy signals. If her culture told her that sexual women were worthless, she learned to want sex while hating herself for wanting it. You're not just dealing with her, you're dealing with every message about sex she's ever received. You see an attractive woman and your body responds before your brain even processes her name. Blood flows, hormones surge, and suddenly you're ready for action like a firefighter hearing the alarm. Your arousal is a straight line from point A to point B. See stimulus, feel response, want sex. For her, arousal is a three-ring circus where psychology, physiology, and cognition all have to perform perfectly, simultaneously, or the whole show shuts down. Her body might be willing, but if her mind is stressed about tomorrow's presentation, it's over. Her mind might be interested, but if she feels bloated from lunch, forget it. She might be emotionally connected to you, but if she suddenly remembers she didn't like how you spoke to the waiter last week, her desire evaporates like water in the desert. Here's the mind that'll reorganize how you see everything. She can have sex with zero arousal, and you'd never know. While you need physical readiness like a car needs gas, she can run on empty and fake a full tank. She's had entire relationships where she performed desires she didn't feel, created passion that didn't exist, and you probably thought you were a sex god. Declined. Meanwhile, she was making grocery lists in her head while moaning your name. This isn't deception, it's adaptation to a world that told her your pleasure matters more than her truth. Think about what this means. Your arousal is honest, it shows up or it doesn't. There's no faking that biological response, but she's been trained since puberty to perform sexuality regardless of her actual desire. She learned to be sexy when she feels like garbage, to be available when she'd rather disappear, to act turned on when she's completely numb. You measure good sex by orgasms and frequency. She might be having neither while telling you it's amazing, because that's easier than explaining the 37 factors that need to align for her to actually feel something. The psychological component for her isn't just important, it's everything. She needs to feel desired, but not objectified. Powerful, but not responsible. Present, but not observed. Safe, but not bored. It's like trying to hit a target that's moving in 3 dimensions while blindfolded. One wrong word, one weird look, one reminder of her insecurities, and her arousal disappears faster than your paycheck at a strip club. Meanwhile, you're confused because 5 minutes ago she seemed into it, not understanding that her ex just posted on Instagram, and now she feels like a worthless troll who doesn't deserve pleasure. Her cognitive involvement means she's thinking about sex while having sex, not fantasizing, analyzing. Is this position flattering? Does he notice my stomach? Am I making too much noise? Not enough noise? Why did he change rhythm? Was I doing something wrong? Is this what his ex did? Am I better? Am I better? Worse, while you're lost in the moment, she's running a complex algorithm of comparison, judgment, and evaluation that would crash NASA computers, and you wonder why she seems distracted during the act she claims to want. Forget everything you think you know about what women want. While you're at the gym thinking bigger muscles equal more attraction, she's reading about a billionaire who owns half of Manhattan but can't sleep at night without thinking about the one woman who told him no. These aren't just random fantasies, they're psychological blueprints that reveal exactly what triggers her deepest desires, and none of them have anything to do with your six-pack or your nice guy routine. The powerful billionaire fantasy isn't about money, it's about being chosen by someone who could have anyone. Christian Grey wasn't hot because of his bank account. He was irresistible because he commanded boardrooms, then fell to his knees for one specific woman. She doesn't want your wealth. She wants to be the only thing that can bring a powerful man to his breaking point. When she fantasizes about this archetype, she's imagining being so special that a man who controls everything loses control around her. Your mistake. Thinking she wants you to buy her things, when what she actually wants is to be the one thing money can't buy. The high authority figure makes her wet through competence, not cologne. The surgeon who saves lives with steady hands. The chef who commands a kitchen like a general. The professor who captivates entire lecture halls. She's not attracted to the title. She's attracted to mastery, to watching someone operate at a level that makes other men look like children playing dress-up. This is why she got turned on watching you fix her car that one time, but feels nothing when you brag about your fantasy football wins. Fantasy football wins. Competence is foreplay. Expertise is erotic. Being genuinely excellent at something meaningful is the sexiest thing you can possibly be. Then there's the beast that is tamed, the primal force that only she can gentle. Every vampire romance, every werewolf story, every bad boy narrative is selling the same drug, being the unique woman who domesticates danger. He's rough with the world, but soft with her. He's violent with enemies, but vulnerable in her arms. He could destroy everything, but chooses to protect her instead. You think she wants you civilized and safe. She wants you capable of violence, but choosing peace because of her. She wants to be the only hand that can pet the wolf without losing fingers. The protector archetype explains why she melts when you walk on the outside of the sidewalk or put your hand on her lower back in crowds. It's not about being macho. It's about making her feel like the most valuable thing in your universe worth defending. The bodyguard who takes a bullet. The soldier who comes home to her. The man who would burn down the world to keep her warm. But here's what you miss. Protection isn't just physical. It's emotional sanctuary. Being the one place where she doesn't have to be strong, where she can fall apart knowing you'll hold her together. The mysterious, emotionally distant man is crack cocaine to her psychological system. Every woman thinks she'll be the one to crack the code, to reach the soft center under the hard shell. The aloof man who doesn't need her triggers every competitive instinct she has. While you're sending good morning text, proving your availability, she's fantasizing about the man who might not text for days. You think being open and communicative makes you attractive. She wants a puzzle to solve, a lock to pick, a heart to win that wasn't already handed to her on a platter. Notice what all these archetypes have in common. power plus vulnerability, strength with a secret weakness, danger with selective softness. They're all variations of the same theme. A formidable man who becomes something different, something more, something vulnerable, only for her. Not weak, selective, not soft, specific. The fantasy isn't taming a puppy, it's being the only person who can reach the unreachable. That girl who dumped you for a tattoo artist at 22 is now married to an accountant with a 400 1K and you're confused as hell. What happened to the woman who said stability was boring? Who swore she'd never be like her mother? Who needed danger and excitement like oxygen? She didn't become a different person. She just graduated to a different archetype. Her sexual psychology evolved while you're still using the same playbook from college, wondering why it stopped working. Watch the pattern. In her early 20s, she's magnetically pulled toward the mysterious bad boy. He doesn't text back, shows up drunk at 2 a.m., probably has another girlfriend, definitely has commitment issues, but that's exactly the point. She doesn't want safety, she wants to feel alive. She wants stories that make her friends gasp. She wants intensity that makes her forget she's mortal. The uncertainty isn't a bug, it's the feature. Every ignored text is foreplay. Every mixed signal is a hit of adrenaline. She's not stupid. She's getting exactly what she needs at this stage. Proof that she's alive, desirable, and playing in the deep end. Fast forward 5 years. She's been burned by 3 bad boys, cried herself to sleep over men who wouldn't commit, and started therapy to understand why she's attracted to emotional unavailability. Suddenly, the protector archetype starts looking different. The stable guy she friend-zoned at 23 is looking like husband material at 28, not because she's settling, because her definition of excitement has evolved. Security becomes sexy, reliability becomes romantic, the ability to plan a future becomes more arousing than the inability to plan a weekend. But here's what nobody tells you, she mourns the shift. Part of her misses the chaos, the uncertainty, the electric feeling of never knowing what comes next. She'll occasionally stalk the bad boy's Instagram, feel that familiar pull in her stomach, then close the app and kiss her stable boyfriend goodnight. She's not conflicted because she's indecisive. She's conflicted because both archetypes served real purposes in her psychological development. The bad boy taught her she was desirable. The protector teaches her she's valuable. Different lessons for different seasons. The authority archetype often emerges in her 30s when she's established in her own right. She doesn't need a man's status anymore. She wants his expertise. The executive who mentors her professionally but ravishes her personally. The surgeon whose hands save lives then worship her body. The entrepreneur who builds empires then builds her breakfast. She's not looking for someone to complete her anymore. She's looking for someone who operates at her level and appreciates the woman she's become. Your potential stopped mattering. Your actuality is everything. Some women cycle through these archetypes in a weekend. Friday night, she wants the beast, rough, primal, throwing her around the bedroom like she weighs nothing. Saturday morning, she wants the protector, making her coffee, asking about her dreams, creating safety in his presence. Saturday night, she wants the billionaire, deciding everything, taking control, making her feel chosen. Sunday, she wants the mystery, distant enough that she has to work for his attention, making her feel earned rather than assumed. The tragedy is, you're probably trying to be the same archetype you were when you first attracted her, not realizing she's 3 archetypes past that. Now, you're still playing the mysterious card when she needs a protector. You're still trying to be the bad boy when she's craving authority. You're offering danger when she wants decisiveness. You're stuck in her past psychology while she's operating in present needs and wondering why the spark died when really you just failed to evolve with her fantasy life. Every woman is running different software built from 3 core pillars, psychological, physiological, and cognitive, mixed in proportions so unique that what drives one woman wild will leave another completely cold. You're not dealing with a standard operating system. You're dealing with custom configurations that change based on the day, the mood, the weather, and whether she saw herself from a bad angle in the bathroom mirror. The psychological pillar is her sexual self-image, and it's more fragile than your ego. After she fakes a headache for the 3rd night straight, this is how she sees herself as a sexual being. Does she believe she's desirable? Does she think she deserves pleasure? Does sex make her feel powerful or pathetic? One woman sees herself as a goddess who grants mortals the gift of her body. Another sees herself as damaged goods trying to prove she's worth something. Same act, completely different psychological movies playing in their heads. You're touching her body while her psychology is either opening every door or slamming them all shut. The physiological pillar is her body's actual response, and it's the most honest thing about her sexuality when you know how to read it. This isn't about whether she gets wet or has orgasms. It's about how her unique nervous system processes pleasure. Some women need 40 minutes of build-up, while others are ready in 40 seconds. Some need gentle progression, while others want intensity from the jump. But here's the kicker. She might not even know her own physiological truth because she's been too busy performing what she thinks she should feel instead of discovering what she actually feels. The cognitive pillar is the logical framework she uses to interpret sex, and it's usually the one sabotaging everything else. This is her brain's running commentary during every sexual moment. Is this too soon? Too late? Does this mean something? Does this mean nothing? Does this mean nothing? Am I doing this for the right reasons? What would people think? What does this say about me? Her cognition is like having a judgmental narrator providing real-time analysis while she's trying to lose herself in pleasure. You're focused on the moment while she's writing a dissertation about what the moment means. Most women are only firing on one or two pillars at any given time. Her body might be ready, but her psychology is shut down. Her psychology might be craving it, but her cognition is blocking. Her cognition might give permission, but her body won't respond. The rare moments when all three align. That's when she turns into the sexual goddess you glimpsed that one time and have been desperately trying to resurrect ever since. The CIA uses the term concordance to describe the sequence of events that leads to a specific outcome. In sex, it's the exact chain of triggers that takes someone from zero to naked. For you, it's simple. See hot woman, get aroused, want sex. 3 steps, straight line, mission, accomplished. Oh, but her concordance is like a combination lock, where the numbers have to be entered in perfect sequence or the whole thing stays sealed shut. You've been randomly spinning dials, wondering why nothing opens. Your concordance is a highway, direct, fast, predictable. Hers is a labyrinth where one wrong turn sends you back to the beginning. She might need to feel intellectually stimulated before she can feel physically attracted. She might need narrative build-up before visual stimulation means anything. She might need to feel emotionally safe before her body will even consider arousal. You're trying to skip to step 10 while she's still requiring steps 1 through 9 in exact order and wondering why she's not in the mood when you grabbed her ass in the kitchen. Her concordance might start with something that has nothing to do with sex. It could be you fixing something broken because competence triggers her psychological arousal. It could be you standing up to someone because protection activates her primal brain. It could be you passionately explaining something you care about because intensity in one area suggests intensity in others. You think foreplay starts when you touch her. Her concordance started when you parallel parked perfectly 6 hours ago. While you're turned on by body parts, she's turned on by stories. The story of being desired but not conquered. The story of being chosen from many options. The story of being powerful enough to break through someone's control. This is why she reads erotica instead of watching porn. This is why she needs to know the plot of the adult film. This is why You Look Hot Does Nothing, but I haven't been able to concentrate all day thinking about you makes her melt. You're offering visual data when she needs narrative context. Stop playing sexual roulette and start being strategic. That woman you're trying to figure out, she's already told you exactly what archetype she craves. But you were too busy talking about yourself to notice. She mentioned that book she couldn't put down, the one with the dangerous CEO who only shows vulnerability to one woman. She got flustered when that dominant contractor came to fix her sink. She melts when you take charge without asking permission. She's painting you a roadmap to her deepest desires, and you're still using Google Maps from 2003. Identifying her archetype isn't about asking, it's about observing. It's about observing. What stories does she consume? What scenes in movies make her shift in her seat? What type of man makes her nervous in that specific way where she plays with her hair and forgets how to speak? If she's obsessed with true crime podcasts and serial killer documentaries, she's probably drawn to the beast archetype. If she lights up when you explain something you're expert in, she's responding to authority. If she tests your boundaries constantly, she's checking if you're really the protector or just another weak man in disguise. Once you've identified her archetype, that's just your entry point, not your entire strategy. The archetype is the key that unlocks the door, but you still have to walk through it correctly. You can't just declare yourself a protector and expect her to fall into your arms. You have to demonstrate it through actions that speak to her specific psychological wiring. Protection isn't saying, "I'll protect you." It's walking her to her car without being asked. It's remembering she's anxious about that meeting tomorrow. It's creating an environment where her nervous system finally relaxes. Her concordance sequence is playing on repeat if you know how to watch and playing if you know how to watch. Notice what happens before she initiates sex. Is it after deep conversations where you really listened? After you handled something stressful for her? After you dominated in some non-sexual arena that reminded her you're capable? That's her sequence showing itself. Most men think sex starts when clothes come off. Her concordance started 3 days ago when you fixed that problem without her asking. And everything since has been building toward this moment. The narrative stimulus woman needs story before body. Don't grab her tits. Tell her how you've been thinking about her all day. Don't go straight for the kiss. Describe what you want to do to her later. Your words are foreplay. Your intentions are aphrodisiacs. The sensory stimulus woman experiences the world through her body, but not the way you think. She doesn't need you to touch her sexually. She needs you to wake up her senses first. Run your fingers through her hair while you're watching TV. Put your hand on her lower back in public. You're activating her sensory system, bringing her into her body, making her aware of every nerve ending. The sequence matters more than the element. You can have all the right ingredients, be her perfect archetype, understand her concordance, know her stimulus type, but if you execute them in the wrong order, you get nothing. Master this, and you become the man who just gets it. The one who seems to read her mind, who always knows the right move, who makes her feel understood in ways she can't articulate. You're not psychic, you're strategic. You're not lucky, you're observant. You've learned to decode the language every woman is speaking, but most men are too deaf to hear. This isn't manipulation, it's mastery, and mastery is the sexiest thing you could possibly offer.